Hello, everyone. How are you all? It's a great pleasure once again to be here on the channel as today we are going to study Identify Yourself with the audience. You heard me right. Identify yourself with the audience. Yes, we are learning sharing the talk with the audience. This is the third topic. Identify yourself with the audience as soon as possible, preferably in the first words you utter. Indicate some direct relationship with the group you are addressing. If you are honored by being asked to speak, say so. When Harold Macmillan spoke to the graduating class at DePaul University in Green Castle, Indiana, he opened up the lines of communication in his first sentence. I am very grateful for your kind words of welcome. And he said, for a Prime Minister of Great Britain to be invented and invited to your great university is an unusual occasion, but I feel that my present office was not only, nor indeed perhaps the main reason for your invitation. Then he mentioned that his mother was an American born in Indiana and that her father had been one of DPAW's first graduates. Okay, so here we are trying to understand, identify yourself with the audience. I can assure you that I'm proud to be associated with DPAW University, he said, and to renew an old family tradition. Okay, you may be sure, you may be sure that Macmillan, it its reference to an American school and to the American way of life, which his mother, which his mother and her pioneer father knew made friends for him at once. Another way to open the lines of communication is to use the names of people in the audience. I once sat next to the main speaker at a banquet, and I was amazed at his curiosity concerning various people in the hall. All through the meal, he kept asking the master of ceremonies who the person in the blue suit at one table was. And so, as we see, or what was the name of the lady in the flowered hat? When he arose to speak, it became evident at once why he was curious. Okay? He very cleverly wove some of the names he had learned into his talk, and I could see the evident pleasure on the faces of the persons whose names were used, and I sensed the warm friendliness of the audience that this simple technique won for the speaker. Important point to note is identify yourself with the audience. Okay? Notice how Frank Pace Jr., speaking as the president of the General Dynamics Corporation, worked in a few names to advantage. He was speaking at an annual dinner of religion in American Life in Sync in New York. This had been a delightful and meaningful evening for me in many ways. He said, "First, I have my own minister, the Reverend Robert Appleyard. Here is the audience. By his words, deeds, and leadership, he has been an inspiration to me personally and to my family and to our entire congregation. Secondly, to sit between Lewis Strauss and Bob Stevens, men whose interest in religion has been amplified by their interest in public service, is again a source of great personal pleasure. One word of caution. One word of caution. Yes, my dear listener, one word of caution. If you are going to work strange names into your talk, having learned them through inquiries made for the occasion, be sure you have them exactly right, or be sure you understand fully the reason for your use of the names. Be sure you mention them only in a favorable way and use them in moderation. Another method of keeping audience at peak attentiveness is to use the pronoun you rather than the third person they. Okay? Use the pronoun you than the third person they. Okay? In this way, you keep the audience in a state of self awareness, which I have pointed out earlier cannot be overlooked by the speaker if he is to hold the interest and attention of his listeners. Here are some excerpts from a talk on sulfuric acid. One of our students in a New York City class. As we all know, sulfuric acid is the king of acids. Sulfuric acid touches you in your life in a score of ways. If it were not for sulfuric acid, your car would stop, for it is usually extensively in the refining of kerosene and gasoline. The electric lights that illuminate your office and your home would not be possible without it. When you turn on the water from your bath, you use a nickel plated faucet, which requires sulfuric acid in its manufacture. The soap you use has possibly been made from greases or oils that have been treated with the acid. The bristles of your hairbrush and your celluloid comb could not have been produced without it. Your razor, no doubt, has been pickled in it after any yelling. You come down to breakfast. The cup and saucer, if they are other than plain white, could not have come into being without it. Your spoon, knife, and fork have seen a bath of sulfuric acid if they are silver plated, and so on through the whole day. Sulfuric acid affects you at every turn. Go where you will, you cannot escape its influence. By skillfully using you, by skillfully using you. Okay, use the word you. Okay, so by skillfully using you and also inserting his listeners into the picture, the speaker was able to keep attention alive and glowing. There are times, however, when the alive and when the pronoun you is dangerous, when it may establish a cleavage between speaker and audience rather than a bridge. This occurs when it might seem as though we were talking down to our audience or lecturing it. Then it is better to say we instead of you. Say we instead of you. Dr. W. W. Bauer, Director of Health Education of the American Medical Association, often used this technique. And in his radio and television talks, we all want to know how to choose a good doctor, don't we? Yes, we do like to have a good doctor. And he said in one of his talks, and if we are going to get the best service from our doctor, don't we all want to know how to be good patients? Yes, we also want to be good patients. So here ends today's word and also words of wisdom as we were understanding, sharing the talk with the audience. And we saw the important point, identify yourself with the audience. Okay, take care. Love you all. See you again tomorrow. Till then, bye bye.